Hi, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel, and today I have something new for you guys. This is my first Mix It Up Monday. I joined this a couple of weeks ago, and this is the first Mix It Up Monday that I have participated in, so I'm really excited about that. For this time, our challenge was a sketch. I'm sorry about it did get cut off here. This is pretty much everything that was on the sketch here. I had a hard time getting it to print out, but I do have a photo of it that I can be looking at. And so this sketch, I can't tell you here who it's by because I cut off the little thing, but I will put it in the description so that we can see who this sketch is by. It consists of 3 different photos, which is a little bit different for me. I don't generally use that many photos. It looks like a pretty simple sketch, but I'm probably not gonna keep it that way because I don't generally. But we have 3 photos. They say 4x4, but mine are going to vary a bit. I actually cut out, the 3 photos I cut out are all 2x3s, but one of them I'm gonna do something a little fancy with, and the other 2 I'm gonna cut down a bit. So you'll see once I get everything started to put together here. I've already kind of planned it out in my mind and kind of laid it out, dry fit everything, because this was a little bit complicated for me. It was not a sketch that I'm super comfortable with. So I went ahead and I planned it all out. So I have it ready to go, and I'm gonna show y'all what I came up with in just a little bit. So it has the 3 photos, has a little bit of an embellishment cluster here, one here, and then just a teeny tiny bit here. Then they have places for journaling strips here and here, and a title. And that's pretty much all that it is. So I'm going to stick to this sort of. Oh, and there's an element that kind of stretches from the top to the bottom here. You can barely see it. It shows like a little striped strip. And so that'll be there too. So what I kind of have planned is I have this beautiful paper from 49 & Market's Vintage Artistry Serenity. I just got this kit and it is just super, super gorgeous. Lots of these kind of gray blues, and then like this almost this sepia tones all throughout. So it'd be really beautiful with a sepia portrait, which I do have, but I'm just not using it this time. I may pull this kit back out to scrap this really cute sepia photo of my son when he was little that I have kind of sitting here. So I've got this sheet from 49 & Market. I have lots of ephemera from 49 & Market sitting out that I've already kind of dug through to see what I wanted. I pulled from the Serenity ephemera bits. I have pulled from the Serenity laser cut elements. I've pulled from the Serenity chipboard set. I do also have the remnants, but I did not pull from those for this particular layout. So I think for the Mix It Up Monday, the mixed media I'm gonna start with a stencil. I want to put a bit of stenciling, I think in maybe around the areas where I'm gonna put the photos. I think that might be what I do. I'm not 100% positive, but I'm gonna figure that out in a minute. But let me go ahead and kind of move some of this stuff out of the way. This is all the stuff that I've picked out to use. On the page, it's just kind of laying all over the place, and like I said, I will definitely explain it as I go in the voiceover, but all right, let me get started. I'll see y'all back here in a minute. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to do here is I'm just going to cut around this leaf up here on the upper right hand side where I'm going to put one of my photos. The reason I wanted to do that is because that's right in the area that I'm going to put the photo, and so I thought I could just kind of make it a part of the cluster up there on that photo. So I've just kind of loosely cut it there so then I can pop it up when I get my photo. All right, so I am using a stencil. I believe that is from Simple Stories, and I got it from the scrap room, and I'm just going to use a little molding paste and kind of push it down into the stencil to kind of make a raised area with I guess I kind of call it lattice. It's kind of stretched out for lattice for me, but that's what it looks like the most. And I'm doing just like a thin layer here of the modeling paste. And what you saw me hold up there earlier was just a frame that I'm going to use around my main photo. And so I'm just kind of looking at it for placement to see where I might need some more. And I did decide I wanted to bring that modeling paste down just a little bit more. This creates not only like texture, but I'm also going to use a little bit of shimmers on the background as well to, you know, just kind of highlight that modeling paste I used, and that helps it to stand out. So I can't remember what color this is because I don't have it sitting in front of me. If it comes to me, I'll tell you. Otherwise, I'll put it in the description down below so that you will see what color that is. But that's from Shimmers. And I started out just kind of dabbing it in a couple little places. When I was off camera, I also rubbed a little bit of clear gesso over top of the modeling paste in this whole area that I'm applying the shimmers to, because I know I don't want it that dark. I want something extremely subtle going on in the background, and so you're going to see how I accomplish that in a second. But I'm just kind of randomly putting color on this little background to just accentuate that lattice a bit in the background. I know I don't need it all because my photo and frame is going to cover the vast majority of this area, but I just want just a tiny bit poking out. So I'm just doing a little bit of splatters here just to kind of give that little splotchy look. And there I'm fitting that to see if every place I want covered is covered. And here I go, I'm taking some of that paint off. This is still a bit dark than what I want it, but you'll see how I remedy that in a minute. I needed a little bit more over there, so I'm just adding a little bit more so that we have some color sticking out the edge there. At least I think it's going to, but as you see in the end, I'm going to end up covering that because I don't put my frame exactly where I want it to be. So what I'm doing here is I'm adding water, and then I am blotting it off to just kind of soften the edges of the mixed media that's on the background there, because I honestly just really don't want much, because I don't want it to take away from the beautiful 49 and Market paper in the background. I mean, honestly, you don't have to add much, but since this is Mix It Up Monday, I'm adding a little bit here. So we'll just see some subtle, just really, really subtle like bits of this sticking out. I don't believe that I wipe off these splatters because I did want something a little bit darker. I went ahead and dried that off camera, and now I'm just kind of placing my photos where they're going to go. According to this sketch that we had, it had those 3 photos and then some journaling and a couple of spots of clusters. And so I follow it kind of. So as if you know me, if you watch me very often, you know I kind of follow things. So I already had an idea for how I wanted to work this frame because I did not have a picture that was big enough to fit in the frame. So I'm going to place the photo there along the bottom there, and then I'm going to take some of the laser cut elements and I'm going to fill in the area here. It's going to go along with my cluster that's supposed to be alongside that photo anyway. So I kind of just worked the cluster over up into the inside of the frame, so it just kind of looks like, you know, flowers are coming out from behind and around and everywhere. It turns out really pretty in the end, and I do like it a lot how it turned out. As I'm placing these, I am figuring out that I put my photo down just a little bit too low. So in a second, I'm going to move the photo. Probably about right now. Yeah, I'm going to move the photo and I just move it up just a little bit, and there I went ahead and I attached those flowers just so you didn't have to watch me do it again. But I raised the photo up just a little bit, and I'm going to use something along the bottom that's going to cover where the photo doesn't go on the frame. And here I'm just fitting in one of the flowers was an ephemera, and I did have to cut out the white that's around it because I didn't care for the white. I wanted everything to look like the laser cuts. And then I placed another laser cut rose. That's really just 2 pieces with flowers, and then I did one more sprig of leaves and I just placed a couple of tickets there. That's really all that is around it. It looks like a ton of stuff, but it really wasn't that much stuff. Down on the bottom, I put the little label that says always be us, and I thought that was really cute because that's my husband and I on vacation. I'm going to add a couple of laser cut butterflies just over here to extend that cluster out a bit. This is my main photo, so it's my main cluster. And as I said, I can't do anything just subtle. I have a really hard time with it. My last layout, I think I did, like, I ended up being pretty subtle, and I'm pretty proud of myself, but this one, no. I'm going all out, guys. Even though the sketch was pretty simple, it did not have a whole lot of embellishments, but this paper and this collection just calls for a lot of prettying up of everything. So as you can see down on the bottom, I took another frame from the laser cut elements, and of course my picture wasn't quite long enough, so I'm going to do something very similar to what I did with the big frame, and I'm going to fill it in with just some ephemera. This is a good way that you can use kind of some of those oddly shaped frames, or ones that just don't seem to really fit a photo very well, is you can take a photo that is maybe just a little bit too small or maybe just a little bit too big, and you can, you know, make it work. If it's a little bit short, you can fill it in with some embellishments. If it's a little too long, you can just cut it out, cut around it. The sketch had one little vertical, it looked like a piece of paper that you would put vertically, so I'm going to use this piece of lace. It looks like actual lace, but this is from the laser cut elements. It is made of paper. They are just so pretty and so lifelike looking that honestly it could just be a real piece, but it isn't. It is paper. And so I'm going to go ahead and place that there to work as my vertical element on the sketch. And see how I'm fitting that little photo just kind of underneath the leaf there. That's what I had envisioned, was that I could put that there as part of the cluster that's going to go around that little photo up there. And in the sketch, the photos were all the same size. I just changed that up. I varied the sizes, the shape, and I think it turns out pretty cool. I really like how it looks once it's done. So you see how I'm kind of filling in and covering up that area over there. Sorry, it's a little bit off screen. I thought I was all the way on screen when I was doing this, but apparently I had my camera zoomed in a little too close. But I'm just fitting some chipboard pieces down there. Both of those came from the chipboard pack, that branch. And it's kind of like a circular die cut with like a flare in the middle. And so I put those down on the bottom, pretty simple down there. Up here on the top, I found a laser cut key that I thought was pretty awesome, a couple of chipboard hearts, and then a label for the top, or a tab, I'm sorry, for the top, and a little chipboard butterfly. And I think that's it. And then I found this super cool other key that looks like it's hanging from a chain. So I grabbed this circular clip that I've had for years and years and years and years. It was part of my hodgepodge hardware from Stampin' Up, which I hoard like a crazy person. And it really takes a lot for me to pull something out of there, but I thought it would look really cool if I hooked that circular clip on and had the key hanging from it. So that is what I did there. And now I'm going to go ahead with my title, which is going to read A Moment in Time Together. So the alphabet that I'm putting on right now, and I will skip ahead a bit so you don't have to watch it all, is from one of my Hip Kit Club kits. I believe it was the kit called Sweater Weather. So it was like last fall. And then that, where it says A Moment in Time, that is just from the ephemera from the 49 and Market Serenity collection. And I just kind of tuck it there underneath the tops of the T's, and that is my title. I thought it worked really well. I liked the kind of scripty font of the alphabet, and I liked the sentiment too, so I just put them together. I'm just gluing down those leaves a bit so that they don't go over top of my title, which I just went and sewed down. That's what I was showing you. A lot of those the alpha that I get, they just don't want to stick, especially when I've used a little bit of mixed media on the background. So I did have a bit of gesso and some of the modeling paste up there, and it just doesn't want to stick. So I like to just run it through my sewing machine, just a straight stitch all the way across. So that is what I did to hold down the title. And now I am working on putting in where they had the journaling in on the sketch. So I'm doing it a little bit differently. I'm not doing all journaling. I'm going to use some word strips and some sayings that were inside the kit, and then I will do a slight bit of journaling. I'm just not a really big journaler, and so I prefer to use like the wordy strips or just the sentiments that come in the kit, as long as it goes along with what I'm trying to portray there. So down on the bottom, I have one that looks like I can't even think of what they're called, but they're like a metal plate that you put on something that tells you what's in there. And it says, "You are always in my heart." And then the little banner says, "Live in the good life." And then I will write the date on the blank portion there. On the other side, I'm doing the same thing. In the center, I'm going to leave a space to write something in there. I'm going to add another one of those book plate looking things, and it reads "Good Friends and Great Adventures." And then I have the circular element that says "True Beauty" that I'm going to place up on the top there. And you know, so I did vary a bit from what was in the sketch there as far as what they had for journaling strips, but I really like how it turned out. It's a little more me, and I just think it looks really pretty. In that box, I'm writing Fredericksburg, Texas with the Lees. We went with some friends to Fredericksburg was our destination. I don't remember if this picture was actually in Fredericksburg or one of the other little towns we looked at, but it was on that trip to Fredericksburg, so that's what I'm putting. I'm going ahead and putting some more splatters just over my embellishments so that it kind of ties all in with what I had in the background. I don't want a ton. I'm just gonna sprinkle them just a little bit so that we have a little bit over just those clusters. And then I think I do sprinkle just a tiny bit over my journaling so it doesn't feel left out. I'm almost to the end. I think I have like one more thing that I'm gonna do after I finish with a few of these splatters. Yeah, see, just a little bit on the journaling, just to make it kind of cohesive and flow together. Okay, and so the last bit, I am going to use these clear Nouveau drops. It's called Morning Dew, and I like to do this whenever I have these realistic looking flowers, is basically putting dewdrops on it. I love how it looks when it dries. It literally does look like there's drops of water sitting on the petals and the leaves, and you'll be able to see that more once I have the pictures up. When I hold this up in a second for the slowdown, it's still going to be wet, so it's not quite clear. It'll look a little hazy, but it dries clear. And so there's the title, and you can see the stitching. And you can see those 3 drops on the leaves. They're not quite clear yet because it was still wet, but I just love how that looks. I do have a couple of adhesives that kind of got stray on here that I will be taking off, as you will see here and there. There's the last one there. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching today. This was my very first Mix It Up Monday, but please feel free to look at the playlist and see everyone else who played along. I hope you all have an awesome day and you get a lot of inspiration today from Mix It Up Monday. Bye for now.